Craig. Reviews for you. Sorry I didn't get a video made yesterday. I was at the hospital doing some stuff related to the surgery. But anyway, I've come across this article this morning, came across my news feed from CNN. I'll post it up and I'll let y'all read it. And I'm going to read it to you and give you my actual perspective on the article itself. Another thing I want to address real quick. Be mindful and be respectful to everybody that comments on this channel. Everybody's point of view, whether you agree or disagree, is welcome on this channel. I like to see both sides of the argument, but I also like to see us try to find some common middle ground. So with that being said, there's no name calling on this channel to another subscriber or to anybody that comments. Plain and simple. Those comments will be deleted. I get enough death threats and pretty interesting and inventive ways to do it as well. I mean, it's kind of weird. But I get a lot of that, around 100 a day. So, I mean, I know what it feels like, and we all know what it feels like whenever Disney called us names and did this, that. So, let's just try to keep that to a minimum. Now, on this channel, our subscribers don't seem to be that way, and, I'd like to keep it that way. We've got some really great subscribers to this channel. So, with that being said, let's get straight to the article. CNN, Solo. Star Wars should resist bowing to the force of its most vocal fans. Now, this is by Brian Lowry from CNN. Disney and Lucasfilm are dealing with the first conspicuous setback of their 5-year-old corporate marriage, as Solo, a Star Wars story, has fallen far short of gargantuan box office expectations. Yes, it has. It's fallen well short. You're going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars. Feel bad for you. Sorry. While the studio ponders whether that requires adjusting course, yes, it does. A small, rebellious, and inordinately vocal quadrant of the fan community is delighting in and deriving an unfortunate message from those woes. Well, okay, so you just called us a small, rebellious, and inordinately vocal quadrant of the fan community. If we're so small, why are they going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars? My point exactly. So, it goes on to say, Solo delivered less than $30 million in its second weekend, plummeting by nearly 2/3 from its less than stellar opening, bringing its total just shy of $150 million. For a mere mortal movie, that would be just fine. Well, it wouldn't be just fine because you have a $250+ million budget on this movie just to film it and another $250 to promote it. So you're a $500 million in the freaking hole. So $150 million is very, very bad. But I digress. Okay, so for a mere mortal movie, that would be just fine. But it's a pallid addition to the Star Wars universe, which has shattered box office records and routinely amassed huge returns. The subplot to that, and it's an odd one, comes from Star Wars fans who see Solo's underwhelming results as vindication. Absolutely we do. What else would you call it? It's vindication. It lets you know that everything we've said is true, and you're going to go in the hole, and you're going to end up selling off this stuff because you don't know anything about Star Wars. A blow against the Disney empire and Lucasfilm chief Kathleen Kennedy. Yes, that's absolutely true. We do want her gone. Reinforced by internet echo chambers in the way intense political partisans find like-minded brethren online, they harbor what is almost certainly a magnified vision of their numbers. It's not magnified. It's true. If it wasn't, Star Wars would be making money. It's not. And how widely their passions are shared. I know our passions are shared widely. I absolutely know. As Vulture's Chris Lee noted in a piece back in February titled, "Why Do Some Star Wars Fans Want the Han Solo Movie to Flop?" This subset of the fan base responded negatively, an understatement there, to The Last Jedi, the most recent Star Wars sequel, and called for a Solo boycott to vent their displeasure. Absolutely we did. Apparently it worked. You're saying it didn't, but then you say it does. Make up your mind. Part of us want this film to fail, Joe Vargas, host of the Angry Joe Show on YouTube, said at the time. I was thinking maybe if it does bad, Disney will be smarter with how they do things in the future. Well, absolutely. You should learn from your mistakes. That's what life's all about, and move on. They've also lamented Disney's rapid expansion and strip mining of the galaxies George Lucas created. As writer Danny D. Placido put in a Forbes commentary, Solo is Hollywood at its most cynical, squeezing every last drop of blood from an iconic character. Now, this is absolutely true and exactly what we've been saying. Quit rehashing the old characters because all you're doing is ruining them. They are already established. They already have everything. We already love them, and everything you do to them kills them. Leave them alone. You have $4 billion worth of material that you can shoot movies on, yet you keep going back to the original trilogy. Stupid. Within this circle, Kennedy and directors like Last Giant's Rian Johnson are accused of spoiling Star Wars, and not uncommonly, ruining my childhood. Okay, yeah, I agree with that. 100%. Never mind that Solo is actually pretty good. Actually, it's not pretty good. Go to Rotten Tomatoes. Listen to what everybody's got to say with it. I've seen the movie. It's meh. It's just a meh. It's safe. It's a safe movie. You know Han's not going to die. You know Chewie's not going to die. You know it's a dumb movie altogether. It's and the ending is just so stupid. Anyway, but for those of y'all that like the film, congratulations. Or that Lucas, with the name Jar Jar Binks alone, made his own contributions to marring their young childhood. When the blood starts to boil, sobriety and perspective tend to be early casualties. Okay, first of all, sobriety. I'm not drunk. And second of all, perspective is reality. True statement. Now, Jar Jar, does make me cringe. However, the other 50 characters in the movie were fine. As Vulture noted, there's no real way to quantify how vast this portion of the Star Wars fan universe is. Indeed, with so many moving parts and variables to consider, it's difficult to grasp any clear message yet from Solo's underperformance, which of course hasn't deterred the deluge of web traffic-driven hot takes trying to do just that. Well, you just said that there's no real way to quantify how vast this film base or this fan base is that can't stand it. Okay, well, you just said it was a small minority, and now you're saying there's no way to know. Okay, well, we already know. By the petitions that are online, we already know that it's between 300 to 400 to 500,000 freaking people. Okay, we also know that it's the majority of us. But I'll go on. Disney Lucasfilm, meanwhile, have little incentive to do anything but be respectful in addressing their most faithful customers. What? Really? They've not been respectful to us at all. We've been name called. Oh my God. I don't even want to go through the list of names because you already know what we've been called. They think we're the biggest pieces of crap on the earth. And they've said so. So, that's not being respectful at all. But let me go on. Addressing their most faithful customers, since having people feel desperately invested in your product to the point of claiming a kind of ownership stake in it is the definition of a high-class problem. I agree, you have a high-class problem. We do have a stake in Star Wars. The majority of my life was spent around Star Wars. I'm deep into Star Wars fandom right now. I have been in the Star Wars fandom. I know a lot of people at Lucasfilm. I know a lot of people that have been in Star Wars. I have met and talked and had numerous conversations with tons of people at Lucasfilm. So yes, I am deep in the Star Wars fandom, and yes, I do feel like I have a stake in ownership. That said, there's a slightly delusional quality to the victory lap being taken in comment sections and online forums, an assumption that these fans have made a statement that will only further embolden such demands. Yes, it did make a statement, but you said earlier that it didn't make a statement. It wasn't us that did it, but now you're saying, it. All right, make up your mind. Or did we help out? Did we not help out? Did Solo bomb just because it's a bomb? Or, I mean, come on, you got to make up your mind in these things. I mean, you're a freaking writer, for God's sake. It's certainly possible that disappointment surrounding The Last Jedi, a sentiment, incidentally, largely shared by this reviewer, which means he didn't like it, triggered a backlash that played a major role in Solo's week opening. Okay, we played a major role in Solo's week opening. But it's beyond naive to think a subsection of fans can dictate Disney's broader strategy. They don't have a strategy. Since the studio didn't plunk down $4 billion to Lucasfilm to let it sit idle, or allow a small mob with internet pitchforks to call the shots. Now wait a minute, you just said that we caused all this, and then now you're calling us back with a small mob again. Okay, you just keep flip-flopping here. I'm just trying to get it down, and it shouldn't be an internet pitchfork. It should be an internet lightsaber, because it's a Star Wars piece. As politicians have discovered, there are trade-offs involving in allowing the loudest and most belligerent voices, those prone to speaking in Sith-like absolutes, but to define the terms of debate. Yes, we are. I agree with that. Those prone to speaking in Sith-like absolutes. Hearing and being sensitive to what various fans want makes sense, but bowing to the force of a vocal contingent, one that's perhaps a small minority, if we were that damn small, Solo would have done well, but it didn't, is a road fraught with peril. As Han Solo himself once said, it's not always possible to fly by committee. That's not what he said. He just plainly told Princess Leia that this is not a committee, as she was giving her idea on what to do. So you can't even quote that well. Now, with that being said, I'm Craig. Reviews for you. And we'll see you next time. Remember to comment down below, like, subscribe. Make sure we share these videos to get them out there, to show them how small we actually are.